Welcome into the Panthers.com video mailbag presented by CEENTA. Staff writer Max Henson here answering your questions as the Panthers get ready to travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints in a wild card playoff. We got our first question from Crystal Welch, who asks, we have lost 2 games against the Saints. What are the Panthers going to do differently to win this game? I think the first thing you got to look at is this Carolina defense going up against this Saints offense in that potent running game. I mean, the Panthers' rush defense all year has been stellar. They finished number 3 in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per game. There are 2 worst outings defending the run, both against the Saints, those 2 losses to New Orleans. And look, we know it's a tough task. Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, outstanding seasons for New Orleans. Both guys had over 1,500 yards plus from scrimmage. They're the first duo in NFL history to do that. That said, for Carolina, it's simple. They've got to play their best game up front that they have all year. That D-line has to be able to penetrate early and often against New Orleans, that offensive line, get in the backfield and stop these guys before they can get started. It's when they get a few yards of a head of steam that they can really cause problems with their ability to make people miss in space and break tackles. I mean, we've seen it from both Kamara and Ingram. These guys are slippery. They're tough to bring down. So if you give them that bit of space, that's when it can be really trouble. So for the Panthers, the first thing I look at for this game, if they're going to have success and pull out a victory, that defense has got to be able to stop these runners. We've got our next question from Carolina Girl, who says, neither Greg Olsen or Charles Johnson played in the second Saints game. Do you think they could be difference makers? Well, with Charles Johnson coming off of his suspension and playing for the first time in a while against the Falcons, only had 17 snaps. He's going to be a rotational guy. I think Greg Olsen is the one we're all looking at and saying, okay, this could be a big difference maker for sure. Obviously, we all know Greg's ability. He's one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and since he's come back, he's had a couple big games for this team. He's also had some, you look at that season finale against Atlanta with just 1 catch on 10 targets, where not so much production. So still not quite sure what this passing game is going to be able to produce, but certainly with Greg and his reputation, you know Cam is going to be looking to him throughout this game as a go-to guy. He's obviously one of the more clutch receivers in the NFL. And in a situation like this where it's playoff time and guys are going to be well covered and defenses are going to be flying around, these are going to be some tight windows. You're going to have to make some tough throws. Greg Olsen is a guy you can count on. You can trust him to make some of those tough catches in traffic, some of those contested catches, and I expect him to play big in this one for Carolina. We've got our last question from Ben Nelson, who asks, what do the Panthers need from Cam to pull out the W? They need Cam Newton to be at his best. I mean, that's really always been the case for this Panthers team. They go as he goes. Talk about the regular season finale one more time. Of course, did not go the way he wanted it to go, starting 0 for 9, and that offense really could never find a way to get clicking. Cam always does seem, though, to bounce back from performances like that. Whenever he's had a game where it's just kind of head-scratching and frustrating to figure out, man, how could things have gone so wrong, he finds a way to pick himself back up and that following week go out there and play well. And I think Panther fans, obviously, would surely love to see that happen down in New Orleans. And this is a guy who lives for the big moments. He's always made that clear. He embraces the pressure, all that comes with the bright lights of a big stage like this. So wild card weekend where there's a lot of doubt on the outside about this Panthers team trying to beat a Saints team that they haven't in 2 tries already. I expect to see Cam Newton playing his best football. That's the question this week, everybody. We'll do it again next time right here on Panthers.com.